Hi guys, thanks for joining me today for a trial live stream for Greg Gizmo Design's counselling services. Grab yourself a cup of tea or cup of coffee. We're going to have a little bit of a chat today.
Thanks for joining me today.
Just got to work out my audio. There we go. So if you'd like to have a chat with me as well, I do have a chat box which is open up. Feel free to chat. However, there will be some house rules which I'll go over in just a moment. So as I get it set up here and start getting some viewers, yeah, please feel free to chat. Okay, so I think I'm getting slowly set up here. Hi Natasha, how are you today? So if you'd like to just drop me a quick message, Natasha, just to let me know that the live stream chat is up and running at the moment, that'd be great. Thank you. And just let me know that the audio is working fine. Wonderful. Thank you, Natasha. Appreciate that. Okay, so we're not far from getting started here, guys. If you want to grab yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, I will go through some house keeping and just explain a little bit about what this is actually about. Okay, so thank you for joining my live stream today. I'm just going to go over a little bit of what this is actually about. It's a trial live stream for Greg Gizmo Design's counselling services. A general introduction. My name is Gregory Jones. I'm a qualified, accredited and experienced strengths-based and solution-focused counsellor and coach. I have graduated from the Australian College of Applied Psychology in June of last year, and I'm registered with PACFA, which is the Psychotherapy and Counselling Federation of Australia. I have just over 2 years of industry experience in counselling and also in mental health support. And I have a website as well. If you'd like to find out more information about my counselling services, it is www.gdcounselingservices.com.au. So on the screen that you can see here at the moment, I've got some information which is about myself and also the social media links as well. If you'd like to jump into that at your own leisure, you can follow up on additional services which I have on offer as well. So at my website, I have a few things on offer there. There's a mental health supporters blog, which is free self-help blogs on, particularly with the COVID-19 situation at the moment, working on anxiety and stress and depression management. I also do offer services as well, and they're being greatly reduced at the moment. So you can get services quite cheaply at the moment for counselling at $40 per hour and coaching at $20 per half hour. On my website, I've also got reviews as well, and these reviews are from my Google business page. So there's some links there, and also you can go into bookings there as well. So with my counselling services, what I recommend firstly is an intake and consultation, which is a free service. If you'd like to click on that on my website, and then we can go from there in booking your sessions. I'm strictly doing online at the moment, guys, just because of the social distancing and COVID-19 laws that are in place at the moment by the government. And yeah, it's just to basically to protect myself and also yourself as well, um, as I go about with services online at the moment. So it's a free live stream today. I just want to stress the point that this is not a counselling service today. It's not a counselling session at all. It is just generalised community mental health support in regards to today's focus, which is about COVID-19 anxiety and coping strategies which people might have. If you have a coping strategy as well which you'd like to share, please do feel free to enter into the chat box today. That'll be great. Mandy is on a line at the moment. Thank you very much for joining me, Mandy. I appreciate that. So just a couple of house rules today, guys. There is a chat box which is on the right-hand side of this screen. If you'd like to chat or leave a comment, that'll be great. It will just encourage more people to chat as well. This is about a community reach out for mental health support at the moment, and it's a trial live stream at the moment. If this is successful, this could become a weekly live stream, if not a daily live stream, depending on your feedback. So if you can let me know in the chat box how we're going today, that'll be great. There are a few kinks to iron out still with live streaming, so please be aware of that as I'm going through. I'm getting used to the technology. There's a lot that's actually happening at the moment with music and graphics and streaming service technology, which is it's quite hard to understand from a very early perspective of how to master it all. So I grow with you. So if you can let me know in that comment section, it'll be fantastic. Thank you. So today, if you do leave a message in the chat box, please use appropriate language and please use appropriate content as well in discussion, because this is an open public space. So be mindful of others in the stream. It's different to a counselling session where I would create a contract with you around confidentiality. So please be mindful of whatever you chat about today. Really, that's why I put a focus on today on COVID-19 anxiety and coping strategies. So if we can just concentrate on conversation around that, that'll be fantastic. Following this stream today, I will post this as well, so you will have access to it, that you can share with other people as well, and it'll have generalized information about COVID-19 anxiety. I'll be reading through some information which is circulating around that, and also opening up a chat and conversation around your coping strategies as well, in hope that this can be shared with other people and to help strengthen their coping strategies at home during this difficult time when the world is going through extreme hardship at the moment. There'll be links on the display screen here for the social media, but there'll also be links in the description too. So when I do a post of this stream, after this live stream, there'll be additional information which will be there as well. That will also include useful emergency service numbers as well, and it will also include telehealth information which has just come out from the government as well. I'll talk a little bit more about that later in the stream today, about telehealth services. And again, just stressing the point, this is generalized community mental health support advice. It's not a counselling session. A counselling session is a different structure where I sit down with you and we work out contract before we go into sessions. So it's a different arrangement, if you like. Okay. So at the moment I have two viewers. Thanks very much for joining me, Natasha and Mandy. I appreciate your support. This is a fairly new avenue for me to do some live streaming. I don't really like being on camera too much. I like being behind the scenes. So this is also stretching on my talents and skills in doing media and helping you out as much as possible. So this is all about community, and it's about sharing information and sharing advice and just a couple of pointers for everyone as we go through this hardship that we're going through with the COVID-19 pandemic. So without further ado, we'll start today's live stream session. It has been planned for 2 hours between 4 and 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Brisbane time. However, it might go shorter, it might go longer, depending on how many people are viewing this today. So thank you again for the 2 viewers we have at the moment. Hopefully we can increase that number. So if you'd like to share this post, that'd be fantastic. Post stream, if you'd like to leave a comment in the section below, and just give me some feedback about what you think about with the stream and what you think about with appropriate content and topics for discussion as well. We can also look into that as we go from a weekly possibly to a daily live stream, depending on your feedback, guys. So if you can let me know how we're going, that'll be fantastic. So welcome to today's live stream. Today's focus is about COVID-19 related anxiety and coping strategies. Today I'll be doing a little bit of discussion around COVID-19, a little bit about the anxiety and what COVID-19 is doing to our mental health at the moment as a community. And then I'll be breaking up into open chat as well. So feel free to jump into the chat box here and have a little bit of a discussion there. You can ask some questions if you like, and we can work around that. That'll be fantastic. So thank you. So, coping strategies. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the COVID-19 anxiety that's going around globally at the moment. So the first thing that I do want to talk about is about what it's actually doing to our mental health. So there was an article I posted up recently on the webpage here for Greg Ismo Designs Counselling Services. It was by Professor David Forbes from the University of Melbourne. Now he was talking about general things that are happening with our mental health as a collective. I'll just sort of tap into that a little bit there with you just to give you some context of what we're talking about today. So as we know, recently Australians have been faced this week with a ban that's on attending sporting events, theatre, the movies, just so many things. And there's also the social distancing rules being put in place as well. Effectively, it is a lockdown. A maximum of 2 people can be out in public. In situations where it's very restrictive. It's for exercise only or medical or going to get groceries, essential things such as that. So please do stay at home. That's been stressed at that point, so if we could adhere to that. One of the interesting quotes I saw recently was that the COVID-19 virus moves with people. So if we stop moving, we effectively kill that virus. So it's as simple as that, guys. So as a result of the COVID-19, we're facing a pandemic. And the reality at the moment is that there is an immediate, short, and a medium-term future that's uncertain. So in going through that mindset, of course, there's going to be some anxieties around that. What are we going to do for a job? What are we going to do for support with each other? How are we going to move forward? And of course that would provoke a lot of anxiety. It's difficult because we normally have sporting events, we normally have community events that take place. We have work, we have a life that we've been used to for so long. And now we're being forced to adopt this new lifestyle. So before we can recover from the physical and the psychological impact of the recent bushfires, the floods, this COVID-19 pandemic, we've got to look at the anxiety and the fear that's around this. So we know that social support and social connectedness are one of the strongest predictors of resilience and recovery for individuals and communities following trauma and disaster. The nature of an infectious disease outbreak is that people will distance themselves from group settings. They'll isolate themselves, all to reduce the risk of infection. So that highlights the importance. We're looking at quarantining at the moment. The information that we relay to each other around that quarantine, and trying to, I guess, in our situations, to establish some sort of routine and to stay in social contact with each other as well. Thank goodness for the internet. You can imagine people that are going through situations at the moment where they don't have access to the internet. So what can they do? So there's coping strategies that we need in place. As we need to self-isolate, we need to try to reframe the situation, see it as an opportunity to use our time effectively. And this is maintaining connections via social media, and this is maintaining a daily routine in our home environments. So if you know of people that are self-isolating and quarantined at the moment, which it would be the majority of people, I would guarantee that you know, how can we help them remain connected? Well, social media can be helpful. It can ensure that the contacts are personal, and you can look at it from it not being a group-based sort of situation. However, in live streams like this is where I'm trying to encourage group chats, group connectivity. So it's vital at this time that people feel connected, they feel included, and they feel supported. So part of the anxiety stems from feeling what you don't have control in. So what do you focus on that you can control, like good hygiene, like washing your hands properly, and teaching your children to do the same. It's about having a healthy diet. It's about keeping up exercise. It's getting enough sleep. It's connecting with loved ones and friends, though not face to face, but online, and continuing to do things that you enjoy. So it's about keeping conversations calm. It's about sticking to the facts. So mental health practitioners can provide support by checking in on vulnerable patients. They can correct misinformation and direct them to reputable sources of information. I think it's also great as a community that we also don't, it's using the American term, spread fake news, that we're spreading factual information, that we're helping support each other with that information and making sure that it is current information, because this situation that we're facing at the moment, it is changing day to day, isn't it? So, yeah. Jody, thanks for watching as well. Thank you for joining our chat. If you'd like to chat in the chat box, guys, as I'm going through this generalized information, if you'd like to start asking some questions or just to share some of your coping strategies as well, that would help to create the community chat that we've got at the moment on this live stream. So this is uncharted territory, and we're in a different world now where the connectiveness had been taken for granted, and now we're looking at how to establish better quality connections with each other, and how to have meaningful connections with each other as well, as we all cope collectively. So how do we manage anxiety in this situation? How do we get around the anxiety? I think firstly it's looking at understanding the anxiety, and that can be helpful in managing it as well. So here are a couple of points which came up in an article which I put up on Gizmo Design's counselling services just recently, and this is by Rochelle Whitson, who is a licensed psychotherapist. So she came up with a couple of points. Firstly, she was looking at how we think is highly tied to how we feel, and ultimately how we behave. So Rochelle was talking about some people, they may be handling the situation just fine, taking it all in stride. Now, while others may be having daily panic attacks, the difference in these reactions is the result of how each of us individually thinks about the situation. So if a person's thoughts are that it will all be okay, they are likely feeling much less anxiety than the person who is thinking that everything is falling apart. Rochelle also looked at, we tend to be the most anxious when we focus on what we cannot control. So one of the things that I read recently was about the fact that we're looking at the outside connection. We're getting so much of a feed from social media at the moment. We're getting so much of a feed from the news about the outside world and the community, that we're really so focused on what we cannot control. When really it's a situation where we're looking at anxiety, we're looking at what we can control. And because there's so much of that right now that is out of our control, it really is challenging to not focus on what we cannot control. So let's normalize that. That's a normal process that we're all experiencing at the moment. But by doing so, it only increases anxiety when we focus on what we cannot control. And it makes absolutely no change in the item of focus. So really we could look at encouraging each other, if we're constantly thinking about something outside of our control, to simply remind ourselves that it is out of our control, and to switch our focus to something else more productive. So the third point that Rochelle brought up in the article, and this is an interesting point that I've read across the board from other practitioner articles as well, and has been a focus lately, has been catastrophizing. It's one of the terms that we use in counselling, but catastrophizing really increases our anxiety. So can catastrophic thoughts, can they be easy to have? Absolutely. At this time, we're having catastrophic thoughts about the world. Everything from the world is ending, to we will not have enough food to eat, to our society is going to crumble, and all thoughts many of us have had from one time to another during this timing of the COVID-19 pandemic. The catastrophic thoughts are responsible for the hoarding behaviors that you see with so many people, particularly in supermarkets. If you've experienced that, I mean, give a holler in chat at the moment. What's going on with supermarkets? Absolutely. We're seeing that. We're hearing about that. So keeping our thoughts realistic and avoiding catastrophizing is critical in reducing anxiety. So it should look at trying to replace these thoughts with thoughts such as there have been various times in history where things have happened that test humans, and this is simply just one of those situations again. Eventually things will get back to normal. So look at what's happened in the past. We've got 5 viewers here at the moment. Thanks guys for joining, the extra 2 viewers we've just had in. I appreciate that for your support. If you'd like to leave in the chat box, guys, some of your coping strategies around anxiety at the moment, please do so. That'd be great. So again, we're just looking at changing our dialogue and our thought stream about this, that eventually things will get back to normal, that our food supply is not threatened by this virus, and that will all be okay. It's avoiding the what if thinking. So there's a plethora of options to what if about right now. So this is what happens when we focus on what we cannot control. It's interesting how what ifs that go through our mind are always the worst case scenario options. So I'd encourage you to change negative what if thoughts to positive ones. What if things work out? What if we're all stronger and closer after this? And what if this turns out to be a time that we can look back on with fond memories? And we know this is a changing climate, so what if, from a positive point of view, that can come out of this? So relaxation and meditation can be very helpful in bringing down anxiety as well. So all of what I've just listed before about managing our thoughts, because that's what's ultimately creating anxiety, it's important to have techniques that reduce the physical symptoms of anxiety. So because anxiety creates increased energy in your body, it's critical to do things which help to bring that energy level back down. So learning relaxation breathing and meditation, that's very effective. These days there are many apps that are helpful in doing so. So if you've got a phone at the moment and you've got some apps that you want to download, I highly recommend the meditation ones. So have a look at that. I encourage you to find one that you like and to practice daily meditation. It's something that I try myself. I'm doing things which is from a breathing point of view, but also activities, which is helping me to meditate as well. I look at things such as, and you might have heard some of this as well, I look at things such as sitting down and focusing on your senses. So the 5 senses that we have, focusing on hearing things, focusing on sensing things, smell, your touch as well. There's different things that you can do from a meditative point of view with your breathing. Breathing in for 3 and breathing out for 5. So it's slowing you down and it's regulating you from a sensory point of view. So one of the other things with coping with anxiety, guys, is exercise, and that can help reduce the feelings of restlessness or being on edge. Exercise is the other technique that will help greatly reduce the physical symptoms of anxiety because it allows us to burn off that extra energy that we have all built up, created by the anxieties, so our bodies can return to a calmer state. So I encourage everyone to develop a regular exercise routine during this time, so you're regularly burning off energy and keeping your anxiety to a manageable level. So also in this situation with COVID-19, children are also affected by this as well. So how do we work with anxiety with children? How do we get a communication going around that? So how do you know, firstly, if a child has become overwhelmed with fear or worry? Now, this is another article which I've posted on Greg Gizmo Designs just recently. If you want to check this out, it's How to Help Children Manage Anxious Thoughts. And this is by Donna Smollett, who's an MBACP counsellor. When it comes to worried thoughts of a child, they may be less likely to want to share these and their behaviours that won't reflect what they're thinking. So the first place to start is to notice any changes in their normal behaviour. Now, this will generally indicate if the child may be struggling with something. They might be changes to keep an eye on for, such as being extremely shy, being timid or clingy. They have real differences mixing with other children as well. Obviously, with a situation where we're limited to 2 people contact, except in the home environment, if there are other children around, you may notice some differences that they have. They might have difficulty falling or even staying asleep. They might have repeated nightmares, repeated complaints of headache or tummy ache, or constantly asking if things are all right, or other ways of asking for reassurance. How can we help an anxious child? Firstly, try and talk calmly to the child about the things that they're worrying about. Reassure them wherever possible, and this is talking things through with them. So discussing what they already know and answer any questions that they might have. It's often wise to answer children's questions about illness in a factual but not overly detailed way. Developing a routine together. So if the child sees you continuing this routine in a calm and everyday manner, it can help reassure them. Try whenever possible to do things together, and over time they will relax into the new routine and eventually continue doing it themselves. So try using the following phrases and actions to help the child to reduce their fears and anxious thoughts. Remember that what you're doing is right, and that you know that your child best, and what they need most is reassurance that things are fine and that they are safe and loved and that things will get better. 6 phrases that you can use as an example here are: what can we do to make you feel better? Tell me what is worrying you. I'm going to stay with you until you feel better. It will be okay soon. You will get through this, and you are loved. Thanks, Natasha. I'm just reading your chat message at the moment. So, oh, wonderful. So Natasha's just written here that she can still do her job from home, and she has dance school teachers teaching her online with yoga. That's fantastic. Yeah, definitely with the arts community, they're suffering at the moment, but however, there is some positive out of that as well. So what's happening at the moment is I believe that there's live performances that are being streamed from Broadway. Not live performances as in right now, but performances that have been recorded live. With the arts too, it is interesting, isn't it? Because how much are we relying on arts to keep us entertained? We've got poetry, we've got games, we've got shows. It's just incredible, isn't it? So yes, they are struggling at the moment. Just to disclose also that I'm actually part of Sandgate Theatre on the north side of Brisbane, and we're not doing any shows at the moment, obviously, because of the restrictions that are actually in place. However, there will be things that will come out of this that I'm looking at doing. For example, from an entertainment point of view, I have a Muppet called Melvin who will actually be here in chat sometime soon. Not today's feed, but I'm doing puppetry as a form of entertainment, but also with some psychoeducation behind that as well. So just to calm everyone and to have a sense of normality about all of us being isolated at the moment and what we can do about that. So the arts is a great medium to actually look at exploring that and to become more accessible through things such as this live stream, to look at how we can inform each other and to share our experience of this isolation together so we don't actually feel so isolated. It's important, and I think the arts can really do that quite effectively. There are other methods as well. So guys, if you can also through chat here, if you can let me know of coping strategies for anxiety. One of the things that I do, eat and drink. I also play some games as well. So one of the things I'm doing at the moment is going through and doing things which are like puzzles. This is a Rubik's Cube. There are many things such as games and reading books and yeah, chatting to people and connecting with people online, and particularly your friends and family, just making sure that they're actually okay, just checking in. Simple things like that can help reduce your anxiety, because then you don't feel so alone and not so left with your thoughts. So I've gone through some of the articles at the moment, and dance. Thanks, Natasha. So dance as well is another way to cope with anxiety, and it's another way to pass some time as well. Just put on your favorite music, sit back and relax, and yeah, just enjoy yourself with things that you normally do enjoy yourself with. So it's asking that question: what do I enjoy doing, and to get involved with that. Okay, guys. So one of the things that I personally look at, and this is sharing a personal story for coping strategies, is looking at humor. So humor is one of the things that I believe connects us really, really well. The place can be quite a scary, or the world I should say can be quite a scary place at the moment. It can be, this is where some regulation comes in how much balance you have in your life as well. So, be aware of how much of the news that you're watching, how much you're online and looking at social media and looking at feeds about the COVID-19 pandemic. It's very hard to avoid. However, you're in control. You have a choice about what sort of balance you want to have in your day. So one of the things that, like I said, I look at is humor, and there's different projects I'm doing at the moment through my designs company to provide some content which has humor as a theme in it. So if you are interested, some of the feeds that I've got here today, or some of the links I should say, can direct you to other places where I'm producing some of that content for you. And that involves puppetry, involves video, reviews, fun things like that. I'm doing magic as well. So again, these are different strategies that I use. However, if you can let me know through chat what you like to do from a coping strategy point of view for your anxiety, that'll be great to share as well. It's sharing is caring, as they say. So another way that we can look at things at the moment to reduce our anxiety is also through mindfulness, and that is, as I mentioned earlier, through meditation, but it's also being in the moment and being present. It's focusing on what you're doing right now, not worrying so much about the future, not worrying about the past, looking at what you're doing right now and being present. If anything, I think that this virus is going to dramatically teach us how to live a more balanced lifestyle. I think that's what's going to come out of this. What do you guys think? Let me know in chat or in the comments below if you're watching this post live stream. Let me know. We can share all our ideas with each other, and not all of us, we're not right or wrong in the way that we're thinking. We're just sharing with each other, and I think that's very important to share how we cope every single day in this situation where we are limited with where we can move and what we can do. Again, humor is one of the things that I look at. I put up some regular posts with some funny content, and I find that is a connector. Having a bit of a laugh at self, having a bit of a laugh at the situation. Yes, it's quite serious. Absolutely, let's acknowledge that. However, instead of catastrophizing, as I mentioned earlier, we're looking at how we can bring in something which is just changing our perspective and having a bit of more of a positive spin, because there's so much negativity that can be out there, but having a bit of a positive spin on our viewpoint, our perspective of the world at the moment. So I still have 3 viewers at the moment. Guys, if you'd like to leave a chat, and Tasha has been fantastic in providing with us some information just at the moment about how she is looking at things. If you could also leave a comment or hit a like as well, that'd be fantastic. So I'm now leaving it open for open chat, guys. If we're looking at generalized advice, this is not a counseling session, just stressing that point, but generalized advice for our community on how we can best support each other during this time. What do you think of live streams as well? This is a question which I think is important, because I'm really thinking outside the box here. I'm thinking about how to reach out to you guys, how to create a platform where we can have constructive conversation, but also to connect at a quality level, and how I can reach out to you better and to help you feel validated and feel important. And I think that live stream can actually do that. And it just depends. Zoom is your new best friend, is it, Natasha? Absolutely. Yeah, Zoom seems to be taken off. That's an interesting thing as well. Like Skype used to be the thing, and now we're finding that Zoom has taken over that. It's interesting. I wonder why that is. So, yes, I'm now open for chat, guys. If you'd like to reflect or even just to pull apart something which we just talked about before and have a bit of a discussion around that, that'd be great. I do have another hour-ish in this spot that I do have planned for chat around anxiety and coping strategies. So if you've got any input, please do share. Well, that's right, Natasha. So talking with differences between Zoom and Skype, they both help. It's whatever works for you. So yeah, I think it's important to have a bit of variety in your day as well. So in respect of looking at different software and looking at alternative ways of connecting, it's important, I think, because then you're not limiting yourself, are you? You're looking at different things that offer different abilities and different connectiveness, different quality connections. So yeah, but I have actually heard that Zoom is on the increase. More and more people are downloading it and installing it on their computer or phone. There's a whole bunch of different things that are working really positively for Zoom. To just disclose also, because I went through uni last year, and the tail end of my uni, we were doing live streams. Mandy, thank you very much. When we're doing live streams, sorry, back with uni, we were using Zoom a lot, so it's a very effective tool. Mandy's just brought up a point that she's finding that meditation is what's working for her at the moment. Mandy, what type of meditation are you using at the moment, if I can ask you that question? So just as we're waiting for replies here, and there will be some more replies and more comments that will come through after this live stream, where I'll be able to post this to everyone via social media. And more coping strategies, I'm sure, will be added as additional comments of discussion. One of the things that have happened at the moment is that the government's announced telehealth. So, thank you, Mandy. So breathing is one of the ways that you're finding meditation is helping you. Yeah, breathing, it's interesting, isn't it? The rush of oxygen that's coming through you and regulating you. What sort of breathing do you do, Mandy? Are you counting, or are you just taking deep breaths? And what's happening for you at the moment with the breathing? Oh, wonderful. 30-minute guided meditation. Guided meditation is fantastic, isn't it? So, so many apps out there where we can use guided meditation. I have heard, this is the funny thing, I have actually heard about guided meditation with celebrities using their voices to guide you. So if you're a fan of some particular celebrities, you can have their soothing voice help sort of rock you to sleep, or to give you a chance to relax. So definitely take up on that. That's a great idea, and fantastic, Mandy, for you sharing that. I appreciate that. So what I was mentioning before is the looking at the telehealth that's being offered by the government at the moment, and this is a fairly new thing that's looking at bulk bill telehealth consultations. So I just want to talk about this quickly. So people can now access bulk billed telehealth consultations with a number of practitioners. Now these include the GPs, nurses, mental health treatment, pregnancy support counselling, chronic disease management, services to patients in aged care facilities, services for children with autism, after-hours consultations, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health assessments, and services for people with eating disorders. So who can use this? So patients must be located in Australia, eligible for Medicare, and not in hospital. So this is new information that's coming through from the government for telehealth consultations. So an extra way to reach out for support while we're isolating at the moment. Yes. Bawani Pockrell, thank you very much for liking this video. I appreciate that. Your support is very much appreciated. Okay, so maybe I'll throw a question to our current viewers at the moment on this live stream of what you'd like to see and how regularly you'd like to see a live stream from this perspective of generalized community mental health support. Again, I stress the point that it's not a formal counselling session because there's a certain arrangement that's with that where we establish a contract. And then we have some sessions which are set up around that initial intake and consultation appointment. Thank you, Mandy. So breathing in for a count of 5, you were talking about. So, and holding for 7, and then breathe out for a count of 8. That's fantastic. That's similar to what I do myself, and I find that's quite effective as well. And it does slow us down, doesn't it? Yeah. So yeah, my question was to our community here today on the live stream. And also you can leave a comment too, post live stream, about what you'd like to see in content. And if you'd like to see this more regularly, instead of a weekly Wednesday, Wellbeing Wednesday, I think I'm going to call it Wellbeing Wednesday, instead of a weekly spot, would you like to see more regular open community mental health support chats like this? And what would you like to see as well? What sort of content? Would you like to see some themes, or would you like to see open discussions? So what I might do, guys, while I'm waiting for an answer from the current viewers, and I do appreciate too if you leave a comments in the discussions post live stream, that'll be great. I might just look at doing a plug of some of the services that I have on offer here at the moment. So just to recap, I'm an accredited and qualified and experienced strengths-based and solution-focused counsellor and coach. I do offer heavily reduced rate services at the moment for the current COVID-19 pandemic. That is inclusive of counselling, which is online for $40 per hour, and coaching, which is for 30 minutes at $20 an hour. So it's quite affordable, guys. There's no reduced service quality due to the reduced rate. It is the same quality service that you'll get. All of my information for the services for the treatment focus and the specialisation is on my website at www.gdcounsellingservices.com.au. If you'd like to go there, I'll also put a link in the description as well, and you can check out what's on offer there. Now, on that website, I also do have, apart from you booking for your initial intake appointment, which is free, There are also reviews from my Google business page, and also there are health supporter blogs as well. The health supporter blogs are mostly aimed for people that don't require my paid services, but can also have some self-support from reading those articles. And I think it's important that we also have this approach to mental health where it's accessible to everyone. So paid, not paid, different age ranges, different backgrounds. Thank you, Mandy. So Mandy's just given feedback about maybe having live stream services that talk more about how to help children to cope. There is an article, Mandy, on my main business page for Facebook for Greg Gizmo Designs Counselling Services. I believe you have liked that, but just to let other people know as well that are watching this in post, or for Natasha, who's currently watching at the moment, thank you both for still sticking around with me, is that there was an article that I put up there which is looking at how to manage anxiety for children. And this is an article that was looking at, I'll just bring this up. So this is on both my website and also the Greg Gizmo Designs Counselling Services Facebook business page, which you're all looking through at the moment, and thank you for also being supportive through that. There's an article there that's by Donna Smollett, who's an MBACP counsellor, and she's talking about how to help children manage anxious thoughts. So just touching base with you, Mandy, in answering your question about how to help children to cope, there is an actual article that I posted up recently that was posted on the 30th of March, so only 2 days ago. So if you'd like to check that out, that's posted there. But I will be looking at talking more about that in live stream sessions as well. Thank you, Natasha. I appreciate that feedback. So we could be looking at a chat that would happen, yeah, every second Wednesday. It all comes back down to needs too. So I'm always mindful of what is happening with the current climate. So this COVID-19 pandemic is changing day by day. There are more and more restrictions that seem to be coming up every single day. Now, we can't predict really what's going to happen in our immediate future with relation to this. However, I think it's important to just keep our fingers on the pulse with what's going on and to adapt to those changes that come into place as well. So maybe the current need for coaching sessions, or counselling sessions, I should say, or just community chats, might not be that frequent. However, it might increase or decrease over time. So let's be mindful of that. Not a problem at all, Mandy. Thank you very much for your support again, still, and yeah, a lot of our friends do have young children, so you know, this discussion around anxiety and coping with anxiety from a child's perspective, from a parent's perspective to children, I should say, is very, very important, very topical, very current. So I'm not sure, I'll just get a little bit of feedback here from the current viewers, Natasha and Mandy. Can you hear the music in the background? Because I've got a little bit of ambient music in the background that's playing at the moment. It's meant to be relaxing. Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Natasha. I appreciate that. So, yeah, how about also from feedback point of view, Natasha, as well, with the way that this is all framed. So, is this quite presentable? Is it too much on the screen? You got sleepy eyes. Is there too much on the screen, or should there be more content that's put up? I could look at things like a download link stream or something where there's articles that can be downloaded, or something which can be offered from a download perspective that will assist. It'll be like a checklist sort of approach. Maybe something like that would actually work here. And I'm curious as well too, guys, with respect to what you're looking through. So are you looking through a phone, or are you looking through your PC, or yeah, what sort of format are you looking at? Because again, the screen that you see here, it's formatted for PC. However, it would probably shrink, I would say, for phones. Um, to give you some perspective of what I'm looking at from a live stream point of view here, I have my phone on the left hand side, which has a feed going through it. On the right hand side, I have my studio set up, and in front of me I do have a screen with a webcam which has articles on it as well. So there's plenty of information that I can share, I can bring up to discuss, and therefore it gives great content as well for discussion. It's not just me having a chat with you via stream here on the webcam and being limited to what you're saying through chat. There's plenty of things which can be offered through a live stream service like this. Okay, Mandy, so you're looking through your phone. Fantastic. So I'm hoping that the frame rate, I'm hoping that the sound quality is quite good. There is new technology on its way here, which will be for lighting and sound for me to actually be at a higher definition and greater lighting quality as well. I do have things in place which there's a light here which sort of helps me be seen a little bit better. There's a better webcam that's coming as well. Yeah, thank you, Mandy. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you to say. So yeah, and again, what I want to stress as well, this is not a counselling service or counselling session. It is just very generalised community information. I am very mindful that there may be things that are brought up in discussion with people at in different mindsets and at different stages of their life coping with this pandemic. And so, and that's why I put, a little bit about house rules, just looking at appropriate content, appropriate language. This is a public space, so, things can be said which can be quite harmful. So what I would also offer outside of this safe space is also personalized chat. So if something like that were to come up, these are things that are preventative as we go into live stream with respect to dealing with quite sensitive issues, and how to have a chat around that safely, one-on-one. So I would offer that as well. There'd be a one-on-one chat. I think it's important to do that. We have 4 viewers at the moment, guys. This is fantastic. Thank you very much for those 2 that have just joined. I appreciate your support as we go through and live stream. This is a trial live stream of generalized community mental health support through my company called Gizmo Designs Counseling Services. Thank you so much for your support, guys. I really do appreciate that. We go from strength to strength with each other to get together collectively as we do cope with this COVID-19 pandemic. No, I can't, Natasha, but it is interesting, isn't it? Yeah, the mixture of technologies, and yeah, yeah. So to the 2 new viewers that have just joined, if you'd like to leave a comment in the chat, we are having an interactive session today. If you'd like to, we've just discussed things around COVID-19 anxiety and also coping strategies. If you'd like to let us know what your coping strategies are with anxiety at the moment, that'll be fantastic, because we are sharing and sharing is caring. So yeah, if you'd like to leave a comment, that'd be wonderful. Thank you. Also, like the page and share it as well, and that way we can get more awareness about this particular live stream, how often you'd like to have it, and what sort of content you'd like to have in each of those live stream sessions as well. So to the 2 new viewers that are coming on board, if you are unaware, I am a qualified, accredited and experienced strengths-based and solution-focused counsellor and coach. I run a private business, and I've got plenty of experience working with stress, anxiety and depression management. And yeah, and as I've said throughout this particular live stream, is that this is not a counselling session. It is just very generalised information for community support. So what I might do, guys, is just to reflect on some of the things that we've talked about today, because we're an hour into session now. And in that reflection, if there's something that comes up for you, please do add something to the chat box. We will have a discussion around that, and we'll go from there. So we were looking at earlier today that what COVID-19 is doing to our mental health, and this was an article that was by Professor David Forbes from the University of Melbourne, and an article that I put on my Greg Gizmo Designs Counselling Services Facebook business page, which you've all come through, and thank you for your continued support, which is looking at what's happening to our mental health at the moment. And as we're facing this pandemic, the levels of anxiety that are rising, and how we're catastrophizing, because we're getting so much of a feed from social media and from news reports. Oh, wonderful, Mandy, wonderful. Well, Mandy, I'll have a chat with you privately about that, and see if I can support you on Friday night just for a bit of a celebration with you. So, looking at again with COVID-19 anxiety and looking at coping strategies today, we looked at some ways to manage anxiety as this COVID-19 virus ramps up. Another article which I have on my business page as well is by Rochelle Whitson, who was a licensed psychotherapist, and she looked at how to manage anxiety through a couple of different methods. One is looking at how we think is highly tied to how we feel, and ultimately how we behave. We tend to be the most anxious when we focus on what we cannot control. Catastrophizing will only increase our anxiety, and we're also going to look at avoiding what-if thinking. Relaxation and meditation can be very helpful in bringing down anxiety, and also exercise as well. So one thing that Natasha was bringing up earlier today was talking about dancing, and dancing being a coping strategy. One of the coping strategies I look at is meditation. That was shared out with Mandy, and thank you for sharing that with me today. I also look at games. So we're looking at, Rubik's Cubes. There's different variations of Rubik's Cube as well. This is a wonderful little tool that, yeah, it does that sort of thing. We also look at music, and we look at games. We look at watching movies and TV. There's a whole bunch of plethora of different ways to entertain ourselves. However, coping strategies, I mean, another one that I look at as well, and hopefully during chat here you can share what you've got for coping strategies as well. But personally, I have my pet cat. So my pet cat Jasper is one way to regulate myself and to bring down some of the anxiety. There's a lot of cuddles, a lot of kisses, a lot of affection that's shown by a pet. So if you have a pet as well, let me know how you're going with your pet at the moment, and how they're managing with you as well. I would imagine a lot of dogs and cats and various pets are lapping up the attention that they're getting from their owners at the moment. So yeah, it's wonderful, isn't it, having a relationship with an animal, and that's quite loving, and it's non-judgmental. So another way as well that I manage my anxiety from day to day is to show gratitude as well. I keep a gratitude journal every single day. I write down some ideas of things that I'm grateful for: my health, my friends, my pet, my bed. I've got somewhere to sleep, somewhere safe. I've got a roof over my head. Um, I look at music. I love listening to music, and I love playing games, as I showed you before. But also, I like playing music. So just behind me on my right-hand side um, of the feed, not my left-hand side and me here, but yeah, the right-hand side of my feed here is my guitar. So I am learning guitar at the moment. I'm also I play a little bit of piano as well, but it's keyboard. And there's different ways that you can cope with by playing musical instruments as well. I think that's quite good to jump into things that you haven't done for a while as well, and rediscover your love for things, rediscover your love for games, rediscover your love for entertainment. Because before this pandemic, how often have we been looking at keeping ourselves busy with work and forgetting who we are in a fun way? You know, going for a walk. As we know, there are restrictions at the moment, so just be mindful when you're going out for a bit of exercise that that's what you're doing, so you don't get in trouble. I think cooking is also another way to look at it, reducing anxiety as well. So looking at different recipes. I mean, there's a plethora of different recipes online. I'm sure if you ask your parents, if you ask your family, your friends, associates for recipe ideas, they'll also be happy to pass some recipes as well. So just to try different things. Again, with variety, it comes back to that, and I feel that humour is one way to connect with other people as well. But I think if you can think outside the square of having a bit of variety every day in what you're doing, so have a bit of a play with your pets, have a bit of a chat with people and connect through social media, have some cooking, enjoy your food, enjoy your music. But also it's looking at normalizing the situation. Everyone is coping with anxiety as best as they can. Everyone is experiencing this isolation, and it's important that we normalize that. It is quite hard. It is quite difficult what we're going through. The world is going through a lot of hardship, and it's really up to us, isn't it? You know, to have a choice about what we want to do with our day. One of the things that I'm going to admit here, and this is through my live streaming efforts, has been also tried not to keep myself so busy. We're used to being very productive. So prior to this COVID-19 pandemic, we're used to doing so many things, whether it was, you know, job capacity, it was checking on people. That is one way to feel productive in doing a lot of things. But at the same time, look at the opportunity that we're given at the moment to slow down. Look at the opportunity we're given to think differently, to appreciate things more. That's why I'm looking at my gratitude journal. I think it's important to write things down that you appreciate. Because it's very easy, guys, it's very easy to focus on things that we are being fed at the moment. It's very easy to focus on negativity. So if we look at ways of changing our internal thoughts, our controlling thoughts, into something which is more self-care orientated, into something which is more loving of self, It's okay to love yourself. One of the things I've talked about with clients in the past has been, oh, you love to cook, fantastic, Mandy. We share that love. One of the things that I looked at talking about with clients in the past has been changing the stigma around loving self, because people usually associate that with being narcissistic, selfish. Variety of things that can come into play with that. However, I think underneath all that, one of the quotes that came from someone that I admire greatly, RuPaul, said, how can you love someone else if you don't love yourself? It all starts with self. It all starts with being your own best friend. I think that really comes down to that. What a great opportunity within the COVID-19 pandemic of this age of self-isolation. What a great opportunity to love ourselves. What a great opportunity to honor ourselves and to get back to basics. So one of the things that I was saying earlier in live stream today was that I think this virus is going to teach us to definitely live a way more balanced lifestyle. What are your thoughts on this? So leave something in chat. It'd be great to hear from you. Currently still have 2 viewers. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not here to get a ton of viewers. I'm here to help you help yourself. I think it's important that we create quality connections with each other. Meaningful connections with each other. And look at how we do that. Look at how we do that. How are you creating a quality connection today? How are you honoring yourself? So some of the links that I have for Greg Gizmo Designs counselling services. Firstly, you've come through my Facebook business page, which is GD Counselling Services at Facebook. I also do have a support group. The support group is affiliated with this live stream as well as a supportive mechanism in place. So if you do a search on Facebook for Greg Gizmo Designs Counselling Services Group, you can join for free and get some really good quality support, not just from me, but also from the community, from you guys. I'm on Twitter. If you search for Greg Gizmo, you'll find me there. I'm also on Instagram, so if you search for Greg Gizmo Designs in Instagram, you'll also find me there as well. So there's plenty of ways. There's plenty of ways for good quality mental health support. Other ways as well, which I'll list, is telehealth. So telehealth has just been recognised by the Australian government. Telehealth is for people who can now access bulk billed telehealth consultations with a number of practitioners, and this includes GPs, nurses, mental health treatment, pregnancy support counselling, chronic disease management, services to patients in aged care facilities, services for children with autism, after-hours consultations, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health assessments, and services for people with eating disorders. So who can use telehealth? Patients must be located in Australia, eligible for Medicare, and not in a hospital. So looking at useful emergency numbers, I've got these cards that I give out to each of my clients. So what I'll do is I'll just list this off, and then I'll put this through with the comments, the description, part of this live stream after it's been posted. So useful emergency numbers, this is for Beyond Blue. So 1300 22 4636, and they're open 24 hours. That's true, Natasha. Natasha's just brought up a very interesting point. So with respect to our isolation at the moment, I think it's going to be interesting with where we are compassionately with our hearts coming out of this. And it's very much a reset button, Mandy, absolutely. These comments are fantastic. Thank you so much, Mandy and Natasha, for your support in this chat. I do appreciate that. It just gives a bit of extra content outside of my lovely face on this live stream for people to read and for people to engage in. So where was I? I was looking at useful emergency numbers. So I just listed off Beyond Blue. Domestic violence is a huge area that's being looked at the moment from the government. They poured, $1.1 billion, I think, just recently, the last few days, into mental health. And domestic violence is a big capture of that as well. You can imagine the situations here, and I don't want to go off topic too much from anxiety here, but it is vitally important that we talk about this because during this pandemic, with people in isolation, domestic violence is going to be a major issue. There is a national domestic violence hotline. It is 1800 737 732. That's open 24 hours. There's a family and domestic violence and sexual assault counselling line, which is also national as well, and that is 1800 737 732. It's exactly the same number as the domestic violence hotline as well. For the kids, there's Kids Helpline, which is 1800 55 1800. It's a 24-hour service as well. Lifeline is still operating for 24 hours. It is 131 114. Men's Line Australia, 1300 78 9978. They're open 24 hours. And Relationships Australia, 1300 364 277. There are some other services too, which I will list in the description for emergencies, if you're in that situation. Again, look at the telehealth services that I listed before. It's important that we look at our GPs and our nurses, our mental health treatment, our pregnancy support counselling, our chronic disease management, our services to patients in aged care facilities, our services for children with autism, our after-hours consultations, our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health assessments, and services for people with eating disorders are all accessible via telehealth now. So there's lots of support there, guys, lots and lots and lots of support. I'm looking at offering support from a weekly perspective at the moment. It might be more frequent, it might be less frequent. If you'd like to let me know via chat or via comments after this live stream, or how often you'd like to see this service of a live stream. And this is for generalized anxiety. This is for generalized stress and generalized depression, to have a discussion around that. I think it's important that we reach out in every way that we can, whether it's paid or it's not paid. Live streaming is a fantastic way of doing that. So I'm happy to be part of that as a qualified, accredited and experienced counsellor and coach who's strength-based and solution-focused. So how can I help you? How can I be of support to you during this time that you need it? or you know someone that needs it. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is not a counselling session per se. This is actually very much a session that's for generalised open community support, mental health support. So if you're after a specialised treatment, that could be dealing not just with anxiety, depression, helplessness. That can be also looking at relationship and communication issues. That can be looking at LGBTIQPA plus issues. That's the rainbow community. That can be looking at life stage and major change transitions. That can be looking at low self-esteem in the current climate of unemployment. Looking at career counselling. I specialise in those areas there. So treatment focus for Gizmo Design's counselling services. So my focus is to help individuals heal, energize, and become aware of your inner values and strengths through motivational interviewing and positive psychology techniques. This is achieved by providing a neutral, non-judgmental, safe, confidential, and supportive counselling space, listening to and working through your concerns, as well as customizing a treatment plan that supports your mental health management and general well-being. For further information, please go to my counselling services website at www.gdcounselingservices.com.au. I'll put a link in the description, guys. Actually, I shall write, because I also want to test that this works also on chat as well. I'll put a link right now in the chat box. Hopefully that comes up. Yep, so it's www.gdcounselingservices.com.au. You can go there for your free intake consultation appointment. And then I have reduced rate counselling and coaching. The reduced rate counselling and coaching no way deteriorates the quality service. It's just the rate that's reduced at the moment for financial hardship for everyone that's experiencing that at the moment. So the reduced rate for counselling is $40 per hour. And the reduced rate for coaching is $20 for 30 minutes. So both of them average out about $40 per hour if you're looking at counselling and coaching. So I'll also mention a little bit about the counselling service itself and what that looks at. So following your no-cost consultation intake appointment, your 1-hour counselling session, $40 flat fee, can be booked ahead for a time and place appropriate to your needs. I'm looking at online at the moment, guys, because of the current restrictions. So yes, let's just look at online for the moment. Telephone counselling might be an option as well, depends on what your needs are. So the counselling service includes specialisation in generalised anxiety and depression management, low self-esteem, relationship and communication issues, LGBTIQPA plus issues, that's the rainbow community, social skill building, life stage and major change transitions, stress management, and careers counselling. So all the online sessions are facilitated with myself as your counsellor through a direct confidential link into a private Zoom one-on-one meeting room session. Coaching is kind of similar, guys, just to give you a bit of context for the coaching, and thank you for the 3 viewers that are still sticking with me at the moment as I go through this service information. Services for coaching includes life coaching, corporate and workplace coaching, seeking guidance and motivation to excel in your chosen areas of interest. Similar with the online sessions there, guys, they're facilitated by myself, who is your coach, through a direct confidential link into a private Zoom one-on-one meeting room session. Okay. So today's focus was primarily on COVID-19 anxiety and coping strategies. We've discussed a bit of that today with the coping strategies that viewers have shared, and I've shared as well, personally. Also from articles that I read today to you, which are all available for free. They're through the Greg Gizmo Designs Counselling Services Facebook business page, which you've just come through. Thank you very much for your support and for sticking around also too. I very much want to thank Mandy and Natasha for being constant viewers throughout this stream today, this trial stream. Your support means a lot. However, I'm not out there for tons and tons of viewers. I'm really out there to help you who you're on the other end of this live stream and you're seeking information, you're seeking support. That's what this is all about. So yes, so we're coming up to an hour and a half in this particular live stream trial session today. Thank you to the third viewer who's just joined me at the moment for your support in watching this live stream at the moment. This is a trial live stream. I am Gregory Jones. I'm a qualified, experienced and accredited counsellor and coach. I work with a strengths-based and solution-focused approach with clients one-on-one. I also do group sessions as well, which can be done by Zoom. Thank you, Mandy. I appreciate your support. It sounds like you'll be on board every week. Certainly, the more viewers that we get, the more people we can reach. So if you'd like to share this live stream on your Facebook, if you'd like to even just like the post, that'll be fantastic. It's showing support that's there for continued live stream service. So I guess from today's takeaway of the live stream sessions, I'm understanding that for 2 hours there needs to be consistent content to discuss and something of a topic which is a kind of a broader range. So when we're looking at today, which is COVID-19, anxiety and coping strategies, it's quite, I considered it to be quite a heavy topic, to be a lot to talk about. I have gone through a lot in discussing articles and personal sharing of coping strategies, and also sharing that with you today through the chat box. And I would presume that also with more viewers as well, that we'd have more content to talk about as well. However, that doesn't detract from the fact that this is a live stream designed to give generalized support, and that's certainly what's been offered today. And I thank you for sticking around and actually being here as I've tested this live stream today. Okay guys, so what I might do is might just call an early day today. So I have another 5 minutes before it's an hour and a half in a general mental health support session today. So thank you, Natasha, I appreciate your support. So I'll probably call for another 5 minutes before we close up today. And yeah, just ask you what you've learned today. If you want to offer that feedback, that's up to you. It's perfectly fine. What I will do, so once this is actually finished streaming today, I will post this and I will share it as a means of people outside of the actual live stream to leave their comments and to see how we go. So one of the questions I'd like to pose you today is, what have you learned from this session? And secondly, what can you see as areas for improvement for a live stream of this nature? So that could be the topic, that could be the audio, that could be the visual, that could be me not touching my face. That could be a whole bunch of different things could come into play for feedback. So if you'd like to leave some feedback, please, that'd be wonderful. I do appreciate that. And just leave it in the comments section below. My main aim is to help you, to help yourself, and to help others. So whether I can offer some resources, I can offer some links to different services, or I can just be, in a way, helping you do something during the day which is actually informative. Please do let me know through feedback. It's important that I only grow from your feedback. I only grow from actually hearing what you have to say and what you want to experience through a live stream approach. So please do let me know. So in wrapping up today, guys, I've got another 2.5 minutes for an 1.5-hour session today. It's normally going to be a 2-hour session. I would like to aim for 2 hours. I think that will actually support the amount of people that I expect to sort of jump into group here. And I think it's important to have a lot of content to talk about. So I will think very much so and reflect on today's session to prepare and to gather information for next session. So at the moment, I will look at next Wednesday possibly being another session. Please do leave feedback if you think that that would actually be appropriate for another session this time next Wednesday. And yeah, we'll go from there, guys. I guess that all I can do at the moment is to bid you adieu. Thank you so much for your support today and for watching this live stream. It's been a learning curve for me. But ultimately, I am here for you. I'm here for supporting you in every way that I can during the time that we do have during the live stream to offer information and generalized support for community mental health. And that is for anxiety, depression, stress, whatever is currently on your mind. We will look at a theme each week. We will look at a focus. And if there's anything which is pressing on your mind at the moment, please do leave a comment and reach out to me on this page that you can see. I have my links up at the moment for the various Facebook, Twitter and Instagram social media connections. So please do reach out through that and we can get into some discussions around mental health that's associated with that. I look forward to further discussions with you. I look forward to further quality connections with you and also having a bit of fun at the same time as well. I think that's important in today's climate to have something which is memorable, have something which is quality, and have something which is going to be helpful to you as you isolate and as you keep in this current arrangement that's experienced on a global level to maintain the #1 priority, which is your health. It's your health. So if I can help you with mental health side of things as you support yourself with physical health, please reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. That's what I enjoy doing. I get a lot from this in helping other people and inspiring other people to do the likewise. So yes, please give me some feedback. Thank you again for today, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Please, take care.